welcome back to Not Just Another Fat Girl. This is Kristen, aka your resident fat girl, and it is super late on a Friday night after a very long work week, which is why you see me with no makeup, kind of hair that doesn't really want to do whatever it wants to do, whatever. But I decided to come on and to make a video for y'all because I just love you that much. Tonight, so I'm actually going to be continuing my fat sex series, and I'm going to talk to you about a position that I feel is pretty underrated, to be honest with you. And that is the 69 position. That position is like everybody gets their cake and gets to eat it too, literally. So it's a position where, both people get pleasure at the same time, giving and receiving at the very same time, and I don't see a lose there in any way, shape, or form. I don't see a negative. But since we are talking about fat sex, so I am clearly going to be speaking about this from a plus-size woman's perspective. But I'm going to be talking about it from a plus-size woman's perspective with a much smaller guy, which I think is a very unique dynamic there, because it adds a few concerns that I will definitely go into. But let's just talk logistics first, all right? Number one, it just does not work as effectively with the guy on top. So women, you will have to get over your fears on this one for it to be truly worthwhile. So all those little inhibitions, toss them out. Trust me when I say it will be worthwhile if you do. Number two, ordinarily I don't tell anyone, how to keep their business. But for this position, just think about it logistically for a minute, okay? I would advise you to trim the hedges if they are too long, if you catch my drift. Nobody likes a face full of fuzz, hair. Yeah, no, not sexy. So, I would definitely recommend. And also women, just, heads up here, trimming the hedges, if not, going a little bit further than trimming the hedges, it makes it easier for him to locate things. So just hint, hint, wink, wink there. Women, depending on your size and also on his size. Now, obviously, I said I was speaking from the perspective of being a plus-size woman with a much smaller guy. But in the event that you are with a bigger guy, this may be necessary. It may become a requirement, but just depending on how you land position-wise on him, depending on his shape, his build, how tall he is, how short he is, whatever, you may or may not need a pillow or two underneath your knees as you are kind of straddling him, I guess you can say. Particularly, you will need this if you're on a softer surface, like a pillow top mattress or somewhere where you can't get the leverage that you need. Because even though you are going to be putting weight on him, you're not going to be suspending yourself in midair. No. Girl, my thighs, everything would be burning by the time I was done with that. Not happening. Yeah. So you need to find some sort of leverage so that you don't feel like you're going to slip and just completely, crash down on him. You need to have some sort of leverage, some sort of stability I guess really would be the better word. Find some sort of stability to where you feel comfortable and you feel secure and you don't feel like you're going to slip or you're going to have an accident or something like that, which, that unfortunately can happen. Now, let's go into the whole speaking on the concerns aspect of this, okay? This is probably one of the hardest positions for a woman who doesn't truly love herself to do. And it's for many reasons. I'm not even going to go into those. I actually feel like that could be a completely different video. But in order to truly enjoy this position, to truly enjoy, your partner and make it enjoyable for him, because he knows when you're uncomfortable. He senses it. So let's just cover a few things here that, may potentially kind of hold you back a little bit from truly just letting go and just surrendering to the experience. Number one, everyone has a scent down south, okay? It is natural. So long as it's not a fishy odor that's, coming from there, which could be a sign of infection or some type of hormonal or pH imbalance, I truly doubt that you will get a complaint from him. A slightly musky scent is actually completely normal. But if you're really self-conscious about it to a point where you just, you can't get past it in your head, shower right beforehand. Or you can always use a feminine wipe to freshen up, like Summer's Eve or something like that. Don't be afraid to kind of, I guess, attempt to alleviate some of your stress around it. So, yeah, me personally, I even kind of, get a little funky funk about that, just because I know as a plus size person, you sweat down there, which I can't even say just as a plus size person, because everybody sweats down there, okay? When it's hot as balls outside, and in Florida, it is not only hot, but it is humid. So it is not only sweaty, it is sticky sweaty. No, I get it, girl. I get it. Don't be afraid to hop in the shower and then be like, all right, baby, lay down so I can straddle you. Okay? Next, number 2, the view. Okay? Let's be frank. Very, very few people, period, look good spread eagle. Okay? I don't know what our maker was thinking when he designed us down there, but it is not exactly pretty, especially after you have had kids. Yeah. As a plus size person, though, you are prone to certain things. You're prone to darkening, you're prone to chafing, to bumps, to other things that may detract from your porn star perfection, or at least the perfection that you feel like you should have in your mind. But trust me when I say he does not care about that, okay? I have actually talked to guys about this. They are not looking at the crack of your ass. They are not looking at, oh, hair grows there too. Oh, that's a really dark spot. Oh, she's got some bumps along here. They're not looking at that, okay? They are looking, most of the time, a good 90% of the time, they are looking at the size and the shape of your ass cheeks. So think about when you're bent over, he's like, oh yes, all of that, that is what he's looking at, okay? He is not looking at your imperfections. He's looking at what he is attracted to, okay? He's looking at the span of your hips, the span of your ass. Like he's looking at whatever it is that gives him his erection, okay? And that is, he gets into his little happy space, okay? Basically, he's doing his thing, you're doing yours. And I think that is probably the number one thing that you need to do, is to try to get out of your own head. Get out of here and just get into the moment. Just dive straight into him. Number 3, I think, is probably, it's up there on the concerns list. I wouldn't say it was ever at the top of my list because, yeah. Number 3 is, you are not going to crush him. Especially if you put a pillow beneath your knees as you're mounted over him, okay? But you do need to put your weight on him. Like I said before, you're not suspended in midair. Girl, that's gonna hurt. That is a workout that I am not looking to do. At least not right then, because that would cut my activities short, and I don't like to cut them short. So, I mean, there's a time and place for quickies and stuff like that, but that's another topic, another video. Here's the thing. If he wants to do this position with you, he is well aware of your size, okay? And he probably has a good idea of your weight too. Even if you have never told him the number, even if you've never stepped on the scale around him, I mean, he hasn't even seen the number inside your pants. Trust me, he is well aware of the proportion of your body, of the difference between, the ratio of you to him type of thing. Hyper aware. And I am speaking on this as a person who has been almost 350 pounds. And even now, I am not tiny, okay? I am not a size 12. I'm not a size 10. I'm not a size... okay. We're going to do this, okay? So, I am clearly not a size 2, okay? You can see I got some chonk. And I have, I don't know if you can see, big thighs. They are always touching. I have got bigger hips. I have a belly. I've got all kinds of whatever. Yeah. I've got fat on my arms. I've got everything, okay? I am not worried about crushing him. And you shouldn't be concerned about that either, okay? Most guys can look at you and they have a general idea of your density, okay? They have a good idea of what it's going to feel like. That's another thing. This actually kind of borders a little bit on fetishism, in the sense of, kind of crossing the whole face sitting type of thing, whatever. Which, again, another video. But trust me, he is not going to be deterred by your weight. If he cannot breathe, he is going to tap out. He's not going to wait until he just passes out. That really should not even be on your list of concerns. But let's go ahead and address the concerns in general. I think the most important piece to remember, period, is that he's not going to run away because he saw, in your opinion, the ugliest part of you, possibly, Let's be frank. I mean, no taint is a pretty taint at all, okay? I am a huge advocate of communication, though. And most men are far more sensitive to your insecurities than you may think. And he's not going to think any less of you for revealing them. In fact, he will probably go out of his way to reassure you any way that he possibly can. to squash whatever concerns you may have. Because at the end of the day, if he truly cares about you, he wants you to enjoy it. It's not solely about him, and he knows that. You know, but even outside of that, believe it or not, men have insecurities too. They're just not singularly focused on them, which I think, that is where we as women should definitely take a page out of their book, okay? Men are not perfect, nor are they 100%, secure in themselves at every point in time, But you wouldn't know that because they aren't as vocal about it. They don't openly speak negatively of themselves, at least the men that I know. They definitely play to social expectations and to gender roles in that sense. But they definitely do have their own concerns. We all sweat down there. We all have hair that we have to decide what to do with down there. We all have a unique scent. We all have imperfections. We all have insecurities. But sex isn't about perfection. It's not about being with somebody who is perfect down south because, let's be frank, something that looks pretty doesn't always feel pretty. And just because, a relationship would never survive just on the physical alone. It may for a little bit, but yeah, anyways. Sex, though, it is a versatile way to connect with someone on a deeper level. And me personally, I really truly like the 69 position. I don't think that it is a juvenile position. I think it can be fun and sweet cherry pie. Can it feel good? Even better, you know what? Okay, women, let's, heart to heart here. Okay. As the person on top, you can move your hips. You can grind on him a little bit. You can glide on his tongue. You can do whatever the heck you want. You have complete freedom. You are in control. Take advantage of that, honey. Don't be afraid to, lighten up on what you're doing to him and get into your little groove to get yours, okay? Do not be afraid to get yours. I promise you, he's not going to be mad. He's not going to hate you for it. He probably will be completely turned on by it. So, okay, actually, side note there. Unless you're with a super strong guy who has a solid grip on your hips to where you can't really maneuver the way that you may want to. But you know what? I actually kind of find that a little sexy. So either way, it's a win-win for me. And trust me, it will be a win-win for you as well. So, get over your insecurities, shove them aside, mount him, and girl, ride. Alright, y'all. I hope that you enjoyed this video, that it was not the hot mess that I kind of feel like right now. If you did like it, if you want more fat sex videos, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to put some ideas what you want me to talk about in the comment section below. Subscribe if you have not already. And until next time, stay fabulous.